Yeah, I think that right now, we're recording this from quarantine, and I think there's a lot of tragedy and pain that's being experienced by lots of people. There's a lot of deaths, but there's also some positive aspects that we can see. And one of them is that people are seeing even more graphically how we're all connected in the universe, in the world. That something that can start in China affects the whole world, and that we have to start thinking more as a species more globally. And hopefully this will also help us deal with climate change, other things that require global solutions. But one of the other advantages is that people are home, for those that have homes, are there with either their families or people that they're quarantined with. And it permits a lot of time for self-reflection. One of the tools that people have used for thousands of years for self-reflection um, are psychedelics. We know from the Eleusinian mysteries from the Greeks that for 2,000 years, from 1600 BC roughly to 396 AD, was the Eleusinian mysteries that had a psychedelic component. So I think as people are quarantined, they're in their homes, there's an opportunity for reflection. And this could be a good time for yoga, for meditation, for psychedelics, for figuring out what is our purpose? Where do we find meaning? How do we respond to this newfound globalization that we're really recognizing that we're all part of a much bigger system that goes beyond our gender, our nationality, our religion, our race, our socioeconomic status. The virus is an equal opportunity infector. And I think about the only thing that is maybe more contagious than the virus is going to be love and friendship and connection. And that's what we can explore with psychedelics. The other thing I'd like to mention is that April 19th, which is coming right up, Sunday, is the 77th anniversary of the discovery of LSD. And so there's going to be some online gatherings in honor of what's now called Bicycle Day, when Albert Hofmann, who took LSD intentionally in his laboratory on April 19th, 1943, he'd actually had an experience on April 16th, 1943, where he was synthesizing LSD, and he must have somehow or other gotten some. He had a lot of visions. He wasn't sure that it was LSD, so he did a planned experiment on the 19th, and the LSD that he thought would have a minimal effect or no effect, 250 micrograms, actually is a large dose of LSD. And so he had to ride home from the laboratory on his bicycle. And at times he thought he was dying. They called the doctor. He drank milk as an antidote, which didn't work too well once he had the LSD in his body. But it's become known as Bicycle Day. And by the end of the day, Albert, and the next morning, Albert had kind of death, rebirth, spiritual experience, and was just a tremendous advocate for the spiritual and therapeutic use of LSD for the rest of his life, and he lived to 102. So I think that in this quarantine time, on April 19th, it's going to be a particular good time for people to think about the role of psychedelics in their lives and the lives of the culture, and to think about how we can move through our own fears, our own anxieties, and our own sense of separateness, and really band together and have this become a transformative moment that rises above the level of tragedy and pain and death. And I think that's possible, not just with psychedelics, in other ways, but I think psychedelic medicine, psychedelic connection, psychedelic healing are profound tools.